Hi everyone, it's Aga from MiraCrystalBeads.com and I'm here with another fun DIY video for you. Before I get started, just a quick reminder to check out the rest of our channel, and if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and don't forget about the notification bell because this way you won't miss any of our content. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to turn an absolutely plain, regular, cheapest baseball cap into a rhinestone masterpiece. And we're going to be doing it with Krakowski Crystal flat back rhinestones that I have here in the color Volcano. But of course, you can use any color that you like, as well as any color of baseball cap that you like. What's important is that it's made of fabric and not of any shiny and smooth material, because that might not be good for the glue, whereas this, it will hold these crystals very, very strong. So, when it comes to materials, what you're gonna need are the Krakowski Crystal flatbacks. Of course, you're gonna need your baseball cap, and here I have, as I said, this absolutely plain fabric baseball cap, because these are non-hot fix rhinestones. For this, you're also going to need glue, and I do recommend Gem-Tech glue. This is made especially for rhinestones, for non-hot fix rhinestones. It's water-based, it's non-toxic, it doesn't smell, it has the right consistency, I would say, and it dries clear. So this is especially for this, and I do really recommend it. Here I have a large bottle, but I do recommend you get a smaller one. It's just more compact and comfortable to work with. And it has this precision tip here, so you don't need any extra syringe, though you could use a syringe if you want to, just to be more precise, but this is precise enough for me. So I'm going to just be putting it straight from the bottle, but you can also use, as I said, a syringe, or you can just put a dab on some flat, smooth surface and use a toothpick, for example, to pick up small amounts of the glue and put it where you want it. And to pick up the stones, we're going to be using a stone picker upper, or a gem picker, or gem positioning tool. This is a regular wax crayon. It's just made of wax, and it really lasts you a long time because you can sharpen it. You just sharpen it with a pencil sharpener or with a knife, and you just cut off the tip so that it's flat and it picks up your crystals easier. And I do recommend you get something hard like this tray to pick up your crystals from, because not only you can just shake it up if too many of them are turned their backs to you, but if you just shake them up, especially if there's fewer on there, some of them will turn and you can pick them up again. Also, if the surface is hard, you can more easily get them stuck to your crayon. So you just pick them up and quickly put them on your surface. We also have some other more professional, I would say, gem picker uppers, which you also can get, and they're really, really great. But this one is just the basic one. We have them in a white, and really one will last you a really, really long time. And actually that is all that you're going to need to bedazzle or rhinestone your baseball cap. Let's get started. Alright, so we're going to be doing the front of this cap, but I also already kind of did the back, because why not have some bling in the back of your head as well? And I want to do a similar thing in the front, like here. So it's a little bit of a gradient and a little bit of a sun, I would say, because this is what the color of this crystal kind of reminds me of. They're very shiny and sunny and warm. So I'm going to do a similar thing on the front. And I'm going to do like this entire row over here and go with the gradient a little bit towards the front here and a little bit up over here. Now, if you also want to do the back, because in the front everything is kind of stiff, because most caps usually have some additional reinforcement here, but in the back they don't. So if you want to do this part, what I did is I put a bowl inside. Simple as that. I have a little metal bowl, and I put it inside here so that I have like a hard surface to squeeze the crystals onto, and then I took it off for the drying. So I do recommend that method. Okay, so let's get started with it. I'm gonna start with this row here, and go a little bit over there, and then I'll do the upper part. First of all, remember to shake your butt of glue because it gets a little bit runny if it stands on the shelf. The runny part is on top and the thicker part is on the bottom. So remember to shake it well. All right, now because the fabric is going to absorb the glue a little bit as we go, we're not going to do big parts at once. We're just going to go in sections. And you can do this in two ways. One way is you can dot your way, and the other way is you can just make a line, because I'm doing a solid line over here. So I'm actually going to start squeezing out glue quite close to that seam here. And I just want it like a little tiny little bit. You don't want too much unless you want a bigger crystal somewhere. Let's put a big crystal here. So I put a little bit more glue. And quite quickly, I start picking up my crystals and just placing them right on the glue. And I'm gonna do it at random because I want the pattern to be like irregular. So I'm just picking up single crystals and placing them along this line. This is for the big one, so I had a little more of the glue, and this is actually a little bit too much already, because if I squeeze and really push the crystal into the glue, some of it is squeezing out, but don't worry about it. As I said, it dries clear. I will actually push some of these smaller ones towards the back so that they're all even out here. Right, and the next portion of glue, I'm sort of dragging this end on the fabric so that I don't get too much on there. And I'm going to finish this entire row, just going section by section until I've finished over here. Alright, I'm done with this entire row here. And by the time I was finishing, the side started already drying. I'm going to start on this side again. Now I'm going to make another row, but I'm gonna just skip some crystals at some points to create some gaps so that the gradient effect can already take place. So I'll just put on like some bits until here, then I'll skip one here, some bits until here, I'll make some skips here, and so on and so forth. At this point I can start planning with my glue. So basically I'm gonna start rather dotting, then making a line. I'll make a skip in here. But again, I'm gonna work in sections because, as you can see, the glue is sort of already started drying here. So I have to be quick. Now, as you can see, I made some gaps, and I'm already starting to pay attention to the size of my crystals. Like in here, I needed a little one, and in here, I needed a little one to fill in that space here. So this is what I'll be doing all the way to the other side. And I'm done with row number 2. As you can see, in some places here, I just put in too much glue, so I put in more than one row. I'm just really being chaotic here because I want this to be a sort of chaotic pattern. So for the third row, we're going to be a little bit more dimensional than just going in a line. I'm going to be putting dots of glue along here and a little bit further away, including on top of these gaps in here. So I can put a dot of glue in here and in here, and just kind of still keeping the parts that I'm having in this row close to the previous row, but also adding some extra ones next to them and some on top, like above these gaps over here. Now I also sort of want to have the gradient pattern, yes, but also a little bit of a sun kind of pattern. So like I'm going to keep adding in here and in here and some in between. You know what I mean? These are going to be the like sun rays in here and in here over there. And in between them, I'm gonna dot that. If you prefer it that way, or you would like a more distinct sun pattern, you can do one sun ray by one. So this one first, then this one, then the next one, and only then add in between them if you want. You can do whatever you want. You can go however crazy you want with this. So just have fun. Okay, I'm now done with this part and I really like how it turned out. As you can see, I waited a while and the glue has mostly dried off, even though I did spill some in between the rhinestones because they're so tiny. You won't really be able to see it because they're so shiny. So basically, I really love this result already, and I wonder if I just want to leave it like that, but no, I'm going to attempt to do a similar thing up here. There's two ways I could actually try that, because as you can see, there's this seam here that is a little bit bulky. It makes a little bit of a bulge in here, so it's not exactly flat. So what I could do is I could do one line right above it and not even pretend this is a single design, just there will be a black strip dividing the two designs, or the option that I chose, which I'm going to do, I'm just going to alternate between the sizes and I'm going to put the smaller rhinestones in the first row a little bit lower down on that seam in here, so that when you look at it from afar, this is going to be so shiny and so sparkly that you're not going to notice there's some sort of a break in the design. One more thing, I'm actually going to start from here, so not all the way here. I'm going to start here because this is where the stiff reinforced part kind of ends over here. And I'm also going to hold this with my fingers because, as I said, you need a stiff surface. So just to press the rhinestones onto the surface properly, I'm going to hold it with my fingers from there and make sure that I have a hard surface. A pro tip is where you start feeling that your end of your wax crayon is getting sticky. You can just take the tip off, take your knife and just kind of take the tip off your crayon so that it's nice and waxy again and doesn't have any glue on it. When it comes to picker uppers, sometimes you can wash them if they're made with silicone or something like that. If they're not, sometimes you can scrape off any glue gently and not to damage the picker upper. But yeah, with this one, it's much easier, I think. One more piece of info, when you were not looking, of course, I added more rhinestones onto my tray. And this is still one package. And I do think that you can make this entire design with one package, maybe not the back. I have a little bit more of these. So maybe just buy 2 packs just to be safe. But I do think, oh, and I also use it on my nails, by the way. So I do think it's a good idea to buy 2. However, I do think that for a regular cap, you're just going to need 1 pack. Okay. Let me just put the glue on, and as I said, I'm starting here. So I'm going to be putting the glue on the seam, mostly. And I'm dotting it, and I'm not going to be very exact with it because I want to make it look like it's one design. So where on the bottom there I have smaller rhinestones, I'm going to put a bigger one in here. Alright, so let's start with this much. In case I forget, I put the big one, maybe not this big. I'll put a larger one in here. And then I'll come back here to start with a little bit of smaller stones. It doesn't look bad at all, actually. But a pro tip for if you really heat those like spaces under some of the crystals, like in here. Actually, there are some super tiny rhinestones in this mix. Like in here, you can see this one, it's really super tiny. So I'm going to look for these, and you can pick them out or you can just look for them in the pile. Right, there's some more. Anyway, these are the SS4s, which are 1.5, I think, millimeters, 1.6. And what you can do is you take some surface, it can be a piece of cardboard or the package that these rhinestones come in, and you just squeeze some glue on it. And then you take a toothpick or an orange stick in my case, and you take like a real tiny bit of the glue on that toothpick, and you find the space that you want filled, and you just point the toothpick and leave some glue over there. Do not do too much movement because you're gonna just dirty the rhinestones underneath. But then you find the tiny little SS4 and putting it right there. Oh, it's back there. So I'm just pushing it into the tiniest dab of glue, and there's another. So I pick up another SS4 and trying to kind of direct it to that tiny dab of glue that I have there. And in this way, this hole will be a little bit filled. I'm gonna do one over here. Picking up another tiny SS4. Yeah, so I think I'm actually pretty happy with the rest of it. And so I'm going to do up here the same thing that I did down here. So trying to make kind of a gradient with a bit of the sun rays pattern. Still, I'm eyeballing all the distances and where I put my glue. You can always add more, so maybe add a little bit less, add fewer rhinestones at first, because you can always add some more. I'm gonna start on this side again. And I'm done. This is the finished look. In the end, I decided I liked it when there was more rhinestones on the bottom so that it's more rhinestone heavy around that seam. So I went back and I added a lot of small crystals out there. I really love how it turned out in the end. Now, before you wear it or do anything with a bedazzled piece, remember to leave it to dry. And it's best to leave any work that you do with any glue to dry for at least 24 hours. Even though it's already kind of transparent, it's still drying underneath. So it needs to be fully dry, and after it's dry, it's really going to hold fast. Also, do not throw this in the washing machine or in the dryer because they are going to fall off. You can gently wash it with a cloth if you get it dirty, but it's not recommended that you put it in a machine because the crystals might just fall off because of, all the rough treatment that it's gonna get. So I hope that this video was helpful for you if you're just starting, or if you wanted to know something more, or if you want to switch to a different technique outside of beading. This is really relaxing, especially if you put on your favorite TV show or something. So I do recommend you give it a try, and also give our Krakowski crystal flatbacks a try because they are absolutely gorgeous. And you can get them at eurekacrystalbeads.com, of course, as well as the glue and the gem picking tool and other gem picking tools as well. And let us know in the comments if you would like some more intricate, complex patterns and how to actually put them on your object that you want to bedazzle. And that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and see you in the next one. Bye!